Hello everyone, this is part 7 video on past year NEET questions from the topic D and F block elements. We will start with the question that has come in the year 1999. So usually what we will see is in the recent years, like 2010 onwards, we will see that the level of questions, across the chapters, not only in the D and F block elements but across the chapters, we will see that there are a little bit more not so very much straightforward questions, but if you look at old AIPMT papers or DPMT papers, right, you will see that most of the questions will be like pretty straightforward. So like if you see this question 1999, so bell metal is an alloy of, so bell metal it's an alloy of copper and tin. So the copper content will be approximately 80% and tin will be 20%. And we have one more alloy that is formed by copper and tin, that is bronze. So bronze also contains what? Copper and tin, but there the tin content will be less. So tin content will be around 12%. So the amount of tin content in bronze will be lesser. So these two alloys, right, they predominantly contain what? Copper and tin. So the correct answer for this is option B. Next we have another question, 1999. In which of the following compounds the transition metal has zero oxidation state? So the oxidation state of the transition metal is zero. That's what they are asking. So if you look at these, compounds given to us, right? Obviously in option A as well as option B, there is no transition metal itself, because option A contains what? Nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine. Option B contains what? Nitrogen, hydrogen. There is no transition metal itself. Transition metal is there in the CrO5, and transition metal is also there in FeCO5 times. So if you look at FeCO5 times, right, it's a complex of iron with CO group. The CO group is a neutral ligand. So this is a question that might be related to even the coordination compounds. It's a neutral ligand, right? So the charge on this will be what? Zero. So in FeCO5 times, the charge on iron is going to be what? The oxidation state or the formal charge on iron is going to be zero, because the CO group, which we'll call as a carbonyl group, as a ligand, it will be a neutral ligand. So it will not have any charge. So the compound where we have the transition metal in the zero oxidation state is FeCO5 times. Even we have compounds like nickel tetracarbonyl. This is used in the vapor phase refining of the vapor phase refining method of nickel, right? This is used, and yeah, so this one also is what example where in this case the nickel oxidation state is going to be zero again. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1998. Which one of the following elements constitutes a major impurity in pig iron? So pig iron is the first form of iron that we will get from the iron extraction process in blast furnace, and pig iron contains a major impurity in pig iron is what? Carbon. And the carbon content, right? So normally what we do, so we will have the iron ore, coke, limestone, that will be the constituents of or the raw materials for the blast furnace. So iron ore, the coke and limestone will be what? They will be the raw materials for the blast furnace. And once you form the pig iron, so the pig iron will be further heated with some amount of scrap iron and coke in the furnace, and this will be able to convert the pig iron into another iron form, which is cast iron. So cast iron will be containing lesser amount of carbon than the pig iron. So anyway, all this is a little bit additional information, but here if you look at it, right, so what they are asking, what is the impurity. So what is the impurity in pig iron? It is mainly carbon. So the correct answer for this is option D. Next we have another question that has come in the year 1998. Which one of the following ionic species will impart color to an aqueous solution? So if you look at these ions, right, when the color will come when there are unpaired electrons. So when there are unpaired electrons, there will be a color. So if you look at these ions, right, zinc 2 plus electronic arrangement will be argon 3d10, and copper plus electronic arrangement will be same, argon 3d10. Titanium 4 plus, it will be having electronic arrangement of argon. Chromium 3 plus, see chromium, what is the electronic arrangement? Argon 3d5 4s1, abnormal. So chromium has got abnormal. Chromium and copper will have abnormal electronic arrangement in the 3d series. So chromium 3 plus means 3 electrons have to be removed, 1 electron from the 4s, and remaining 2 electrons have to go from the 3d level. Means chromium 3 plus will have a structure of argon 3d3. Means we can see that if you look at the electronic arrangement in the d orbitals, right, what will be the electronic arrangement? 3 electrons, we have to fill 1 with each parallel spin. So this gives us the idea that only the chromium 3 plus among all the given ions, right, only chromium 3 plus we have unpaired electrons. Means there is going to be a possibility for the d to d transition. So the electrons, right, they can have what? D to D transition, and these transitions will give rise to what? Energy exchanges, and that can result in the color for these substances, or color for the compounds formed by these particular ions. So the correct answer for this is option D. In fact, if you've seen even in the previous part videos also, we have discussed quite a number of questions on this particular idea. Next we have a question that has come in the year 1998 again. Which one of the following elements shows maximum number of different oxidation states in its compounds? This is not about highest oxidation state. What they're asking, they're asking which one of them will be showing maximum number of different oxidation states. Okay, so if you look at what are these elements, right, what are the elements that are given to us? We have gadolinium, we have lanthanum, we have europium, and then we have americium. Okay, so the elements that are available with us, right, so lanthanum has only one oxidation state, which is +3. So what is the electronic arrangement of lanthanum? Xenon, it will be what? 5d1 6s2. So the oxidation state of lanthanum will be +3. Europium and then gadolinium, right, so they will belong to the 4f series. So this is europium, and this is gadolinium. They will belong to 4f series. They will show +3 oxidation state as well as +2 oxidation state. But if you look at it, right, the stability of the oxidation states other than +3, right, will be mainly attributed for what? It will be mainly attributed for extra stability that will come. Like generally when you look at the europium, so europium and gadolinium, right, so if you look at the F7 configuration, wherever they will get F7 configuration, so if you go by the electronic arrangement, so from cerium we have to keep on adding one electron into F. So 1, here we'll add 2, here we'll add 3, 4, 5, 6. So europium, it will have an electronic arrangement of xenon. It should have 6 electrons in 4f, but europium, the 5d electron also will come to 4f, means 4f7 6s2. So if you look at europium 2 plus, right, what is the electronic arrangement of europium 2 plus? It will have xenon 4f7. It will be more stable because of the half-filled F structure. Similarly gadolinium, right, so gadolinium, the electronic arrangement will be xenon 4f7 5d1 6s2. So among the elements of the 4f series, the ones that will have electrons in the 5d level are what? It will be cerium, gadolinium, and lutetium. So we will remember this with a mnemonic SIGAL: cerium, gadolinium, and then lutetium, right? These are the 3 elements which will still have the electron in the 5d level. Other cases, the 5d electron also will be given to 4f. So if you look at this is the gadolinium arrangement, okay, and gadolinium 3 plus, GD3 plus means what? That will have 4f7 structure. So while europium and gadolinium, they can show both +2 and +3. Generally the most stable one will be where they have the 4f7 structure. Means for europium it is +2, that is going to be more stable. For gadolinium that will be plus 3, that will be more stable. So whereas if you look at americium, right, americium is an element in the 5F series. Now the difference between the 4F elements and 5F elements is the energy of the 4F, 5D and 6S. They will not be very much close proximity. The energy difference between these levels will be considerate. Whereas if you look at the energy difference between 5F and 6D and 7S, the energy difference between them will not be that much. So their energy levels will be almost comparable, because of which we will see that the actinoids, all the actinoids, right, the 5F series elements, they will be able to exhibit much more number of oxidation states than the lanthanoids. Okay, so in comparison, the actinoids will be able to generally exhibit multiple number of oxidation states. Because of what reason? The reason is, in case of the actinoids, the 5F, 6D and 7S levels, right, they will have almost comparable energy. So that is the reason we see element like americium, right, it will have plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5 and plus 6. And this we will say is because of what? The low ionization energy and the small energy difference between these 5F, 6D and 7S. So these are the reasons why we will see that the actinoids will be able to exhibit multiple oxidation states, even because these will be generally large size atoms, right. They will also have ease of removal of electrons will be more. That's why we can see more number of electrons can that way be removed. So the correct answer for this is what? Americium, which is option D. So generally when you compare lanthanoids and actinoids, actinoids can give rise to multiple oxidation states. Next we have a question in 1998 again. So this year we have got multiple number of questions. Without losing its concentration, ZnCl2 solution cannot be kept in contact with. See, if you look at these, right, so what are these elements given to us? Pb is lead, Al is aluminum, Au is gold and Ag is what? Silver. See, among the elements, only aluminum is more reactive than zinc. Others are all what? Lead or gold or silver, they will be less reactive than zinc. So if you have aluminum kept along with zinc chloride, right, what is going to happen? You will be able to form aluminum chloride and zinc will be displaced, because aluminum is more reactive metal. So the one where we should not keep, we cannot keep zinc chloride without losing concentration is with aluminum. We cannot keep it, because what is going to happen? Aluminum will displace zinc from zinc chloride and thereby it will be losing its concentration. The amount of zinc chloride will be getting reduced because of the displacement reaction. Clear? So the correct answer for this is what? Option B. Other cases we can keep it. Why? Because the lead or gold or silver, they are less reactive than zinc. Next we have a question that has come in 1997. The lanthanoid contraction is responsible for the fact. So this is a very standard question. So if you look at the options, so we have to go through all the options. What is the first option saying? Zirconium and hafnium have about the same radius. So if you look at where is zirconium, zirconium is here, it comes after yttrium. Then hafnium is below, so hafnium will come just after the lanthanoids. So lanthanoids will actually come in the 6th period. Actinoids will come in the 7th period. So when we are moving from zirconium to hafnium, right, so we will be covering all the lanthanoids. Now because of lanthanoid contraction, see, generally when we go down the groove, what we expect, the size will be increasing. But because of the lanthanoid contraction, which is a result of poor shielding effect of the 4F electrons. So poor shielding effect of 4F electrons, right, that results in the lanthanoid contraction. And as a result of it, what we see is zirconium and hafnium, they will be almost having similar size. Not only that, the zirconium ion, generally it will have plus 4 ion, and hafnium ion, they also will have almost similar sizes. So the correct answer for this is what? Option A. Option B is saying what? Zirconium and zinc have same oxidation state. No, zinc has got only one oxidation state plus 2. So this is incorrect. Option C is saying what? Zirconium and yttrium have about the same radius. No. Because when you move from left to right in any period, size is going to decrease. Okay, so the correct answer for this is what? This is Option A. And the next one is what option D is saying. Zirconium and niobium have similar oxidation state. No, zirconium belongs to what, 4th group, and niobium belongs to 5th group. They will have different oxidation states. Next we have another question. It's a theoretical question that has come in the 1997. Which of the following element is responsible for the oxidation of water to O2 in biological processes? So in biological processes, right, so we have element element manganese. Manganese is the one that will be responsible for the oxidation of water into O2, because in water, right, what is the oxidation state of oxygen? It will be -2, and in O2 what is the oxidation state? 0. So whenever there is an increase in oxidation state, we call it as what? Oxidation process, right? So in biological processes, the oxidation of water into oxygen gas, right, is achieved by the element manganese. So the correct answer for this is option D. Next we have a question in 1997. It's a question based on the reaction of potassium dichromate. In fact, in some of the previous paper questions also we have seen that the reactions of potassium dichromate and potassium permanganate, right, they have been repeating quite often. So look at this. K2Cr2O7 on heating with aqueous NaOH gives. So when K2Cr2O7 is heated with aqueous NaOH, so we must go through all the NCERT reactions with regard to the K2Cr2O7 and KMnO4. So when it is heated with the aqueous solution of NaOH, what it is going to give us? It will be giving us K2CrO4, Na2CrO4 and H2O. Means in both K2CrO4 and Na2CrO4, right, what do we have? We have CrO4 2 minus ions. So we are having CrO4 2 minus ions. So what is the the ion that is getting formed here? It is CrO4 2 minus. So if you look at this in terms of the ionic phenomena, right, what we will write? We will write it like this: Cr2O7 2 minus plus 2OH minus gives rise to what? 2 CrO4 2 minus plus H2O. We can write this in terms of the just ionic expression by taking out the sodium ions and potassium ions. Okay, so the correct answer for this is what? Option C. It will be giving us CrO4 2 minus ions. So this is about the part 7 video, and we will see in the part 8.